Hello, and welcome to the Quintessential Comics Book Club. Hurrah! So one of our guests had a technological emergency, and the other has disappeared into a cloud of smoke. So it's going to be a very brief book club today. If you want to interact with us, or just me, I'm in the chat, and hopefully we'll have more of a video presence next month. But let's get right into the books. So we read The Nameless City by Faith Erin Hicks and Curse Words by Charles Sewell Lane Brown. Some other cool people. I'll show you a little bit of that. And that's what that looks like. And now I'm just going to talk about them. I think overall they're both really cool. I enjoy them both. They're different, but they have some similarities. I'm going to start with Curse Words. I really liked it. It's a little different, and one of the things I really liked about it was the coloring. The colorist was... Oh, they did them together. So the art was by Ryan Brown, and then the colors were by Ryan Brown, Jordan Boy, and Michael Parkinson. And they just brought the comic to life. I'm trying to find a good page to show you now. But they had all these really cool zigzags. So visually, it's really pretty in terms of that. I also like the idea of this, our anti-hero, the wizard, where he's got sort of this rule: no cures, no wars, no love, which is really reminiscent of typical genie lore. Okay, well, you can't make somebody love you, you can't wish for more wishes. So that whole idea of 3 wishes, you have sort of rules, even though there are magic. I like kids. I like them. No cures, no wars, no love. I like that. It's the third one usually in genie lore is you can't bring back someone from the dead. So they're not the same, but I like just the rules of it in general. And it's a little odd. It sort of introduced us to a world quite like ours, and this wizard has been sent but from another planet to pretty much do a spell to open up a portal or whatever it may be that would grant this almighty something power over Earth. And so he gets there, and spoiler alert, gonna talk about the comic. So he gets there and he's prepared to do the spell, and he has to wait for stuff to simmer and whatnot. And in the process of waiting, he walks around. He's like, "Wow, this place is really cool," and decides, by day 20 or something, that he's not going to, and he's instead gonna live like a hipster wizard and protect humanity against the something. I can't remember what it's called. It's easier to do when there's other people here because you can't see me looking at my voice or looking at the screen. Is it Shizazi or something? Shizaji. Lord and Master Shizaji. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But so yeah, generally it's pretty cool. I really dig it. He shows himself to be more than the sum of his parts. And he's like, oh, I could just become a hero and people love me. And at the end of the comic, he encounters another of his kind is sent to put him in his place and actually take over the world for Lord and Master Shizaji. And yeah, he kills them from the stadium full of people, and he's like, whoops! and zaps them into a pocket-sized stadium and just leaves them there. I don't understand what that's all about. I'm like, I don't know if you can like still be the Earth's Lord and Savior. You could have had your koala spin that. And as the issue is going on, you see the social media and like people react and they're like, "Oh, we're Team Margaret," and Margaret's like the talking koala who releases the statements to the public. And he's totally high on his power. I'll show you just another page. He's just like, "Oh, I'm a wizard. I come from a land of legends. I'm here to protect you from those who would use magic to do you harm." And they're like, "Huh, okay." So I'm not quite sure where this is going to go, first issue, but it's certainly interesting. I'm not sure how many are coming out, how many will be out, but I'd be really interested in this as like a mini series, as like a 1-volume graphic novel collection of like this tale. Unless they develop it more, I don't know. They have some other characters that they introduce. They show the Lord, I'm not even gonna bother, the Lord guy at the end, and they have sort of like the X character. So, and you know, she's volunteered to like come to Earth to take him out. So that'll be interesting, but we'll see how far this can go. But so far, I think it's pretty cool. I like it. It's a lot of fun. And that's all I really have to say about this comic. We'll move on to The Nameless City. It's not showing me. This one. Ta-da! So this one's a lot of fun as well. It's a little more lighthearted. There's less gore than there is in curse words. Because there are there's some graphic scenes there, but at the same time, it's like magic. So I'm not, I don't think anyone can really be offended by it. This is a lot of more like all ages friendly. There's some heavy sort of themes of like trying to keep the peace in a city where there's lots of different people with different backgrounds and different sort of ideologies of how to run things. And of course, like everybody's got their own ingrained racism, which is like, it's subtle, but there's certain parts where, they're like, "Oh, you dirty city scum," or whatever. And like you're from the nation of Dows and they're conquerors, so you must be evil and I hate you. So there's a lot of those themes, but overall, it's just like a really fun adventure between these two characters. The guy in blue, just read this. Kai, he's come to this city to like seek out his father and also just like explore the world and understand who he is and his destiny. It's sort of like a nice sort of like adolescence coming of age story, but at the same time, like there is no real loss of innocence. It's like he doesn't when they're making fun of people from the city or people from Dow, he doesn't understand why people are making a difference. People are people to him, and that childish wonder of like where you don't see conflict, where you don't see you don't seek out the differences of people, you just see the possibilities, the similarities. So yeah, I really like it. He makes a friend out of Rat. I'd like a better name for her. But she's a resourceful sort of street urchin that he comes along in like over like a course of a day, and he's like, show me how to do what you do, show me how to run the streets. And she's like, "No, you're a spy. I'm not gonna help you out." And through this encounter, they sort of, she's super untrustworthy, but he's like, hey, I'll bring you food if you teach me how to run like you. And she's like, whatever, I'll take advantage of this guy. But over the course of like 30 days, they get closer, and he's getting faster at running. And, you know, when he's back at the palace and back like the military, he's asking sort of questions and sort of understands the divide in the city between the warring factions and the poverty that the town folk actually live with, and like understands why, yeah, she wants to trade her services for food so she can eat. So overall, I think it's a lot of fun. It is pretty, like, it's not too heavy, even though there are sort of underlying themes inside of it. So, you know, this is sort of her running around and sitting on the rooftops. I think the colorists did a really good job. So this is done by Faith Karen Hicks and Jory Boyer did the colors, and they're really great. I think it really brings the story to life. Like, she has some other books that are just black and white, but just like the vibrant, changing pace and the way that the characters are popped out, I think it really makes a difference. I'd rather spend $20 on a full color book than $10 on the same book that I colored. Yeah, and it's going to be a series. I think the second one is already out. It's not the best book ever, but I don't think it's forgettable. Like, if I see the second of the series, I'll pick it up. But I'm not like gonna make a mental note of it. Be like, all right, you have to go seek this out right now. So it's sort of middle of the road for me. Not like the best ever, but not like the worst ever, which is pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna check the chat. I mean, hello to the two of you that are watching right now. If you read the books and if you have any comments and stuff I didn't mention, feel free to bring them up. If not, I'm gonna wrap this up within the next couple minutes. The polls for next month's book club are going to be up on the Facebook page tomorrow. I like the idea of having a month to read the books and then read the books and like discuss it like the first week of the next month. So it might be that next month is it's our February book club, but we're going to talk about it in the first week of March or something. Hey, James Clark. I don't know why I did that twice. This was enough. But yeah, so that way everyone, like, the books we're talking about, or the comic does come out in that month. But depending on like timing and what's going on, it might be that it might have to get pushed. Yeah. And if you guys still like the polls, I'll still do the polls. If you guys are like, whatever, we'll just read stuff, I'll put up stuff. As always, please post your recommendations in terms of like what kind of stuff you should be reading. If there's certain like stuff you want to discuss, like, or you want us to discuss while we're talking in the book club, you want to talk more about the art, you want to talk more about like the theme, or you want to know more about like behind the scenes, like how the team developed it, how many issues are going to be, what's the art going to be like, let me know, and then I'll sort of like tailor our discussion and my research towards that. I'm Alex Quinn. This is Quinntessential Comix Book Club. I hope you've enjoyed our short chat today. That's like 14 minutes. It's a record, man. Usually we do this for like an hour. I let people talk. But it's just me. It's just me. And like, and James Clark in the comments says hi. So, yeah, that's it. It's short and sweet. They were fun. I'll be interested in checking out Chris Words in the trade. If I saw that, I'd be like, all right, yeah, I'll buy that. I'll check it out. And yeah, let us. I know a lot of you are probably going to watch this later. Let us know, or let me know in the comments if you liked these books, if you want to read more adult content in the future, or if you want general all ages stuff. It's all good. It just helps us tailor this experience towards what you would like to experience. Yes. All right. Well, thanks for joining us on Quintessential Comix Book Club. You can follow me, the Alice Quinn, on all the social media pages, and then Quintessential Comix on Facebook and on Twitter. It's QCX Show. And then you can subscribe to this channel, and I'll let you know when the next event is posted. Thanks again. Have a good one.